All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, everything was in place for the Tennessee Titans to curl up in a corner and give up, but this team is not built that way. The Titans are without the services of running back Derrick Henry, but they have not slowed down. I mean, in two games since Henry's foot injury, the Titans are now 2-0, which includes last week's dominating performance on Sunday Night Football against the Los Angeles Rams on the road, and then today's 23-21 win over the New Orleans Saints. And what it adds up to is that the Titans are 8-2 and they have the best record in the AFC, and they are also tied with the Arizona Cardinals and Green Bay Packers for the best record in the NFL. And all of this falls right into the lap of Titans head coach Mike Vrabel. Vrabel has done a tremendous job in keeping this team on course, keeping this team focused, and having them go out there and take care of their business. You go back to week number one, the Titans looked very bad in their home loss to the Arizona Cardinals. But since then, they've won 8 out of 9, and a lot of those victories were very resilient. They were down on the road early on in week number two versus the Seattle Seahawks. They didn't waver from the game plan. They kept feeding the ball to Derrick Henry, feeding him, feeding him, feeding him. And then ultimately, they wore down the Seahawks defense. They took over the game. They dictated the tempo, and they got the win. Two hard-nosed fought victories over the Indianapolis Colts. And that is a reason why the Titans more than likely are going to win the AFC South. You go back to the tight win against the Buffalo Bills at home in week number 6 on Monday Night Football. Like I said, the wins over the Rams and the Saints, and then a few weeks ago where they blew the doors off of the Kansas City Chiefs. And the thing is, this is a resilient team. They're a tough-minded team. You go back to the offseason where Mike Vrabel completely revamped this defense. It started with basically getting a new secondary, with the exception of Kevin Byard. On top of that, uh, going out and signing Bud Dupree in free agency. And I know that Dupree hasn't had the sack totals per se, but his presence has opened things up for the likes of Harold Landry, who had another sack today. You think about Jeffrey Simmons, who is giving them another pass rusher. And just by their ability alone to rush the passer, that has changed things for this secondary for Tennessee. Really, Ryan Tannehill did make some bad throws last week, but his defense bailed him out. He had a much better effort today against the New Orleans Saints. He was 19 to 27 passing for 213 yards with the TD, no interceptions, and he was sacked twice. But nonetheless, Ryan Tannehill went out there and gave his team an opportunity to win. And that is exactly what the Tennessee Titans were able to do today. Right now, your record says you are what you are. The Titans are the best team in the AFC. And honestly, the way things are shaping up, mess around, the Titans might finish the regular season with the best record in the AFC and get that first round bye. You figure the Titans host the Houston Texans this coming Sunday, and the Houston Texans, I mean, to say they're bad at this point would be a compliment. Big time game in week number 12, where the Titans are going to go to Foxborough and take on the New England Patriots, and the Patriots are rolling right now. But then you look at the last 5 weeks after the Titans have their bye in week number 13. They host Jacksonville in week 14. They're at Pittsburgh in week 15. You never know what the Steelers are going to give you. The 49ers, the way that they're playing right now, they are not a good club. And then finally, Tennessee finishes up in week number 17 at home against Miami, and then they're on the road to take on the Houston Texans in week number 18. This is important because should the Titans finish with the best record in the AFC, they get the first round bye. But then on top of that, because there is still a possibility that Derrick Henry returns this season. And I know that some teams, they might get rusty in having the bye week. to begin the playoffs. But nonetheless, if you're the Titans and you can get that extra week of rest, and that could be an extra opportunity for Derrick Henry to get healthy, and you have him for a postseason run, that is only going to make this team better. I know that the Titans went out and signed Red Grange, and I'm going to keep calling Red Grange Adrian Peterson. But I mean, don't get me wrong, he has all of the respect for me as far as him going out there and still doing it at the running back position. And granted, AP is not going to be the AP that he was 10 years ago, but still, he is a presence at the running back position. And Ryan Tannehill is still doing a solid job being a quarterback for this team. Credit to this Titans offensive line as well. And then again, this defense has been top notch. So I'm not going to write this team off right now. They're looking really, really good. They are the class of the AFC, and with so many other teams in the AFC trying to figure it out, that battle in the AFC North between the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and Browns. The Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, you know, and the Raiders going at it in the AFC West. And of course, the Bills and Patriots in the AFC East. But the Titans have taken control of the AFC South. They're taking control of the AFC, and they are setting the pace as right now they look like the team to beat in the American Football Conference. So, folks, that's going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.